Hey everybody, J-Rod Plays here. I normally make guide videos for Destiny 2, but in this case I've been playing Once Human while Destiny's had a little bit of downtime. There's not a whole lot of content out right now for that. And as I've looked around and tried to find information on Once Human, I've noticed that for whatever reason there's just not a lot of good videos out for certain things. Even though it's been out for a little while now, there's just, I guess, not a lot of either content creators for it, or the content creators are maybe not necessarily NA creators, they're probably EU creators or other parts of the world where it doesn't necessarily translate to United States audience. So for me, I'm going to be trying to make a little bit of videos on things that I find hard to find that aren't necessarily as easy to find out there, or they're not a lot of quality videos. So that way anybody who's also playing Once Human, maybe even coming from Destiny to play Once Human in the downtime, can find things that they need. In this case today we're going to be looking at sage, and so for my sage farm, it's in Broken Delta. I'm going to pull up here this teleporter. It's going to be teleporter located at 3893, negative 7345, and it's just next to the junkyard. So you'll see the Rift Anchor junkyard, so the junkyard here, and it's going to be this teleportation tower here. Now the reason I like this location is because it not only has a bunch of sage to loot, but it also has other things as well that I use regularly. And so I'm going to do one little route here for you and show you how I'm able to get a lot of sage in a short period of time. So when you hop off, you've got grapes right here. Then you've got coneflower, some cabbage. Sometimes there's corn here as well. As you can see, there's wheat. But this is what we're here for, is going to be the sage. And so there's usually 4 nodes here that you're going to hit. And then you can run back. There's some oranges, some grapes, and there's usually always 2 things of sulfur. 2 sulfur veins, which is fantastic for somebody like myself who makes acid. There's even another sulfur vein there if I wanted to snag that. But I'm just going to go through and do another route. So what you do is when you're done with this, instead of just waiting for that to come back up, and also there's a Hawthorne Berry over there that I can grab too. Going back to what I was saying, though, is that when you're done with this, you can hit the tower, you can hit G to interact with it, or if you're on control or whatever that button is. Then you're going to go to the top of the worlds. So I'm at world 9, I'm going to go to world 1. And as you see, boom, more of it spawns. So I have the same grapes. I have cabbage, coneflower. I've got my wheat. I'm going to hit the sage up again. Already up to 7 sage. I've got my oranges, the grapes, and my sulfur, which is important. I'm going to go right back and do it again. So world 2. As you can see, the switch is pretty easy to do. And you'll see me meleeing sometimes because my melee key is also the same key as interact. I changed my normal interact key to E, but it doesn't change it for the whole game. So I'll have situations where I'm trying to take all from a chest and I'll end up meleeing. So you may see that unfortunate scenario where I can't actually force it to change everything to E because that's what I'm used to for my interacts. And so I'm going to do one more route real quick and then we'll take a look and see what I ended up with. So G to interact here, switching. Again, I'm going to grab my grapes, if it lets me. There we go. Cabbage, coneflower. Going to go hit up the wheat. And then the sage, what we're here for. Oranges, grapes, and sulfur. And so again, this is just a little bitty farm, but if you do this for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, you'll have a ton of stuff. I've only done 3 routes, and we can check here. I've got 720 sulfur, a little bit of gravel, which we'll use for centered brick for concrete. That's what I build with most of my things. And then we're going to go check on our haul here. So we've got 8 grapes, 4 coneflower, 4 cabbage already, 4 wheat, 16 sage, and 4 oranges. So these are all great cooking materials. The reason that I want to have sage is I'm actually working on my Eternal Land balance. So what I do is I go into Eternal Land, manage materials, go to orders, and as you can see, it'll have sometimes picking up potatoes, carp. Right now I'm getting the cabbage, so if I stick around and get the cabbage 6 more times, I'll be able to set that one up, and then I can grab some more cabbage, but there's a different cabbage farm that I'll pull up for that. There's a good cabbage and beach farm that I'll make a video for. But that's pretty much it. This is going to be the location again, just to show everybody where we're at. We're in Broken Delta. We're at the bottom of the map here, and you're going to come all the way to the left, above Ship Graveyard, right there between junkyard and ship graveyard. There's a teleportation tower, and you can also notice by the oil rig. And so this is where I have it marked because this is where it lets me mark it. And every time I need a little bit of sage, or if I just want to run a quick route and get some more materials, I'll come here, knock it out, and what I'll end up doing is I'll just go all the way from world 1, in my situation, to world 15, and then I'm pretty much done at that point. Usually my teleport's done, and I go right back to my home, store everything in the fridge that I need to, and then turn in what I need to as well, and go about my day. I hope this guide helped you guys. A lot of times people will put you out in the middle of nowhere trying to get sage here and there, and you're on your bike running around trying to grab sage. But whenever you have a situation like this where you know that your sage is going to spawn in a reliable location, you can just switch between worlds. And anytime you switch between worlds in a world that you haven't picked up yet, so let's say we go all the way down to 15, for example, because I know I haven't picked that one up yet, boom, there's more sage. So I'm not having to run all the way around creation just trying to pick up the sage. I get 4 sage every time across my 15 worlds. It'll get like 60 sage, and that's easy. You know, that's an easy farm. Hit it up, go home, let whatever spoil, and use that for fertilizer for my crops. So if you have any other questions, or if you have any other things that you're struggling with, go ahead and drop those into the comments, and I'll be glad to kind of drop a guide. If I get enough comments saying, hey, you know how to do this, and I know how to do it, I'll be glad to share my knowledge, because Once Human is one of those games where it's kind of like it was a mobile game that was made into a PC game, and so there's not a lot of information out on it. Even though that a lot of this information is sometimes buried in the game, it's not in your face. Once Human doesn't do a great job of sharing certain things, and there's the UI is so crowded. Like, for example, most people don't even know that if you're a certain weight, that you can carry more, but you're slower. And it doesn't tell you that until you look at here where it says your weight and where you're at, and it'll tell you each of the categories. It'll tell you, what your base load can be, so you can carry more things, which is a big deal when you talk about carrying weight and gathering. So stuff like that is not easily accessible, and I hope to make a little bit of an impact and give you guys more accessible guides on Once Human as I'm playing this game alongside Destiny, since like I said, Destiny is my main game, but it's kind of slow. So now here I am, Once Human creator as well, and hopefully I'll see you guys in other guides, and thanks very much for watching the end. I appreciate all my new subscribers as well recently, and anybody from this video who happens to drop a like and subscribe, I appreciate you as well.